What's going on, Ambitious Vets? Welcome to episode number 26 of the Ambitious Vet Show with U.S. Army medic vet and founder of Jas.Advisor.Grp, James Snow. Welcome to the Ambitious Vet. My name is Chris Hoffman, Marine combat veteran turned passion-driven entrepreneur. Now, guys, we're here to dive into the trenches with today's top-performing military veterans that were once warrior-made but are now passion-driven. Now, guys, as they share their stories, their failures, and their journey of what it took, we just hope that this unlocks your secret formula to living a more impactful, meaningful, and top-performing civilian life. Okay, so veteran that's listening here, do you consider yourself as someone that's out of the uniform that realizes very quickly, as Jeffrey Loddick from the Other Side of Leadership podcast says, where you get out of the uniform and your credibility goes with it? Well, guys, if you are someone that's seeking a life of impact out of the uniform, I quite often say that when we get out of the uniform, we go back to Clark Kent and we're figuring out how do we get back to Superman. Not every veteran, but for the few and the ambitious veterans that are listening to this, we are looking on how do we become Superman again. Well, come join our Facebook group called Veteran Empowerment Transition. It's a Facebook group where we are literally just creating a new breed of transitioning veterans, where our end goal is really just to equip you guys with the tools, the network, and the strategies of what it takes to actually create an impactful life out of the uniform. Guys, we have over 560 veterans that we've built completely organically with no ads there, where we do weekly live interviews that we repurpose and put on this podcast. So guys, you get real-time engagement with all these influencers where you can ask them live questions. How cool is that? Guys, we're also going to be doing one solo passion-driven tip of the week every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with myself. So you guys get real-time engagement with me on a weekly basis. Guys, and then lastly, you get all the updates of vet training and coaching, upcoming programs, new collaborations. We may be cross-promoting another veteran service product or podcast or message or something like that that we think could provide a shit ton of value to you guys. But guys, all you guys really need to know, if you are a veteran that's seeking impact out of the uniform, if you don't know what it takes, or if you're seeking that secret formula, kind of like I was when I was out of the uniform, go to Veteran Empowerment Transition Group, and we look forward to diving into the trenches with you. We'll see you there. All right, ambitious vets, let's go ahead and dive into the introduction for today's guest. Today's guest is James Snow. He's a U.S. Army combat medic vet who now is a financial planner who specializes in ambitious vets just like you in building a financial legacy. He specializes in transition planning strategies, active duty military, retirement, estate planning, investments, assets, income projection, college funding, and many more. Guys, I think what he was the most excited about as far as coming onto the show today was actually diving into his event that he's going to be having from February 22nd to the 24th in Fort Worth, Texas, called Veteran Business Builder Conference, where he's going to be bringing in some of the top thought leaders and business leaders inside the community, like Rob Garcia, Lee Mosler, Mark Rockefeller, Stephen Kuhn, Patrick Bet-David, Daniel Ulrich, Donnie Boyven, Bonnie Silver, and many others. And we're just a few close friends of mine personally that are going to be speaking there to bring you guys the business plans, financial plans, marketing plans, and follow-up and accountability that's going to allow you to take your business from 1 to 10 very quickly. Guys, the coolest thing about it is he promotes a hell of a discount for any ambitious vets that either watched the live video inside the tribe back in July or is listening to this podcast now. Guys, all you guys have to do is go to txvet.us. That's Texas hyphenated, so txvet.us. Register for the event, which I know that there's only a few more seats available. You didn't buy a big enough venue for the amount of demand that's needed in Fort Worth. But guys, go and type in promo code AMBITIOUSVETS with an S at the end, all caps, and you guys will get a 25% off discount for that ticket.
Are you there, brother?
Guys, I'm excited. Let's go ahead and dive right in to this brilliant-minded business strategist, James Snow. Let's get it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I know we've been trying to connect for a long time.
Yeah, hit and miss, yes.
That's what happens when we're ambitious vets, man. We're just grinding, building.
That's right. Busy.
It is, man. Love it. So good. Go ahead and fill the gaps of that introduction, man. Let us know a little bit more about who you are.
Well, I'm a financial planner here in North Texas. And what I do is I really focus mostly on veterans. I've focused on veterans with their personal planning as well as their business planning. And so, anything, I have what I call a holistic practice, which covers basically the whole nuts and bolts. So, from your time in the service, everything you had from then, I'm familiar with all of those offerings that you had in the military, how to bring that into the civilian world, how to work with it, and make sure that you set up a strategy. With my podcast, that's something that I'm really passionate about, because it gets to the core of really what people should be doing, building a legacy. When we enlisted, we signed that blank check because we want to be part of something bigger than us. Yes. We want to be part of something that was going to be, larger than life. We want to be part of something that's going to last much longer than us. And that's what a legacy is. And so that's really what I do with my finance practice, as well as the podcast, is really, discovering what is your story, and then digging deeper into that to where we can kind of paint a picture for multiple generations from now, and make sure that's going to be able to go on and on and on. It's something Americans have gotten way away from. Our ancestors were really big about legacy mindset, and really I think we kind of lost a lot of that. In the evolving in society, we've lost so much of it that we don't think. We're not thinking in terms of building something today that our children are going to build on, and then their children are going to build on, and then their children are going to build on, to where it makes society better. It makes the world better than we found it.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. I love that. And one thing I liked about you, man, when I was doing a little bit of research, I've been following you for a while and what you're up to, man. You're doing some really awesome things, man. I know we have a lot of like-minded friends that were mutual connections. And one thing that I wrote down that really inspired me about you is how a lot of us try to build a legacy with our own steam, with our own resources. And we don't really seek thought leaders and stuff like that and all that. So I really liked how you articulated that in your messaging and your branding and who you are. So I want you to dive in. Let's backtrack just a little bit, because I get that you know who you are right now, but let's dive into your transitional story. How did you start figuring out that you're passionate about helping vets and people in general create a legacy bigger than themselves? Like, how did you discover that in your transition?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, bud, because back when I got out of the service, I had kind of I guess what you say is a very, very common story. My transition sucked. I got out, I was lost. I didn't know really what I was going to do when I came back to the world. The things still looked the same. The people that I knew were still doing the same things. People were still, that I hung out with, they were still doing the same things, getting in trouble the same way that they did when I left. And it was like, nothing changed, but I did. And I didn't fit. And so that was a big part of what I ran against was, I wasn't the same person I was before. And I had to discover really how to redefine myself. And, I struggled for a long time. I went into the corporate world, working for a very large, probably the largest publishing company in the world.
Nice.
And was working for them. Did that for 10 years. Absolutely miserable. Absolutely miserable in the corporate world, because that wasn't me. I think deep down, I'm crafted to help people and to help fix problems. And working for somebody else, making them rich, is not me.
Yeah.
That's not the cloth I'm cut from. I need to be really belly to belly with people and helping them create something for themselves. That's what drives me. Yeah. And when I was in the service, in the Army as a combat medic, that was something, I didn't realize then that it really kind of defined me as a person all the way around, because I was helping people before, and then I got away from that. And it took me a long time to realize I needed to get back to the core of, just being a servant, being someone who helped other people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, brother. So yeah, there's a lot in what you shared. I mean, how long did you, how long were you in the corporate world in the publisher company? Like how many years was that your first opportunity out of the uniform?
I did a couple, smaller employment jobs, but, I worked for auto companies, doing little odds and ends things there. And then, kind of bounced around a little bit, but then ultimately ended up in that corporate position, which was information security. So, I was doing, computer IT kind of things. Right. And so, inside of a little cubicle, effectively. And, that's the furthest thing from my personality. Don't stick me into a box. Yep. But that's what I did for, close to 11 years.
Yeah.
And as fate would have it, it, I guess, got to a point where they discovered they could pay somebody else less to bring him in, that didn't have the same kind of tenure. And so they let me go. And that really was a godsend, because that was a forced opportunity for me to have to really dig deep and discover what am I going to do next. And that's really where the story started getting interesting, because from there, that's when I initially started my business, and then, continued on, slowly progressing from, doing, say, identity theft type things, data security, data protection, identity protection, those type areas, and slowly migrating towards protecting people's assets. And then, the ultimate end goal was, helping people create strategies that built on that. So they were creating and building assets and protecting them at the same time.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I got it. And those 11 years, man, how did you actually, was it they just push you out of the company, or was it like, okay, like this isn't for me? What was the volcano eruption that had you be like, this isn't what I want to do anymore?
They did a layoff. So, it was a forced decision, at that point.
Got it.
They had, they laid me off. And so from there, it was just, one day I worked, the next day I didn't.
Got it. Wow. That's a transition in itself, isn't it?
Yeah. Straight in the fire.
Holy shit. So you did two major transitions in life, one out of the uniform, and then 11 years of experience in a company, in corporate. And then you were just kind of laid off overnight. That's crazy.
Yeah. But what I was able to see while I was in is how all of the workings happened, as far as, building up, say, your retirement funds and building up a pension and things of that sort. So I was able to see some of those workings from the inside out.
Yep.
Without really realizing what I was learning about at the same time.
Yep. I think that's really good that you say that, James, because this community is a bunch of ambitious vets that are getting out with big visions, getting met with a lot of adversity. And you speak a lot to my heart right now, because I'm in a corporate position right now where I'm a sales trainer, and I know I'm in the right position right now because I'm developing skill sets that are going to allow me to help build leadership, communicate more effectively, persuade, build leadership, and all that kind of stuff. And I know my skill sets are incubating. And I love that message, because a lot of ambitious vets want to get out and start $1 million business overnight. They want to get rich quick. And you've got to allow your gifts, your talents, and stuff like that to really incubate. Same with Derek Sisson last night. He was just like, you've got to allow yourself time. It's a marathon, not a race, to actually uncover what it is that you're good at. And incubating those, because stability isn't what ambitious vets like to hear. But I think you have to have some level of stability to get creative, to scale yourself later on in life.
Sure. I mean, that's spot on, because, a lot of people think that when they start their business, they're going to be able to just explode into the market. And they're not thinking that, for the first probably 3 to 5 years, you're going to be hand to mouth. You're going to be working really hard. And you have to have something, some kind of a plan put together. And that's part of why I was so driven to create the conference that we'll be talking about today, is that a lot of people think that they can just, it's a DIY thing. You can go on the internet and Google, what you do for your business plan, or you Google, how to do a financial plan and whatnot. And,
Right.
Good luck. But once you have to actually, fire test that thing and,
Yep.
put it to the test, it's going to fall apart.
Yep.
So you want somebody that knows what they're doing to actually help you put that thing together.
Absolutely. Love that. Love it, man. So good. So now we've gotten 11 years out of the Army. You got laid off. You figure out that you're really good at strategy. How did you discover that? And how are you kind of utilizing that, after 11 years of in the corporate world and creating a new opportunity outside of that?
Well, I guess it was just sort of stumbled upon, over time, you just discovered that, being able to put these things together, just sort of happened. It's not something that was planned. It was sort of like, you go from one opportunity and then another opportunity comes along and you pick up a little extra knowledge and extra credentials and so forth. And so it was, hopping from spot to spot to spot. And then, at the end of it, I then finally decided, okay, I'm just going to do my own agency and completely break away from all of the other companies and be 100% independent. And, so that way I'm not married to anybody, and, thoroughly be able to do what's best for my clients and the people that are seeking my help.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's a great answer, brother. So good. So now we're branching off. You find strategy, you start branching off, focus on something way bigger than your everyday circumstances. So now let's kind of get into what was your biggest failure when you were actually getting out, branching off on yourself and getting what you've created, which is this financial company, right?
Right.
So what has been your biggest failure in getting to where you are now, which is we're going to transition into this conference that you're creating in Fort Worth. But what has been your biggest failure for building influence and rebranding yourself pretty much from after 11 years of being in the corporate world?
Really just, having a good enough funnel, having enough people, that I can work with. And you really have to build a good network. You have to, make sure that you put yourself out there. You have to plug yourself into a lot of different resources. And so that was something that I discovered, kind of the hard way, that you do have to plug into a lot of different groups. And so I've got hundreds of different groups on Facebook that I'm part of. So I bounce around all over the place. People will see me everywhere.
And super active. Yeah. I noticed that.
But you have to be because, only so many of those people are actually going to be your ideal client. And so that's key, is just making sure that you have the most exposure you can and get out there. Don't worry about, don't hold back, just get out there and, expose yourself and make sure that people see you, make sure people that can hear what your message is, because otherwise they're just going to go right past you.
Right. No, absolutely. And I'm a big believer in that. Being consistent, focus on long-term gain, and really focus on consistent messaging for sure. And getting clearer on your message through trial and error and really seeing what sticks based on your unique skill set. So that's awesome, brother. So from there, man, let's talk about kind of this company that you've created, Jas.Advisor.Grp. What had you start this company, and what's the bigger vision of this?
Well, back when I was doing the thing with the publishing company, I did actually start initially, some of the formation steps of the company, to where I was doing some advisory work on the IT direction. And so that was sort of a slow progression to where I was advising on the IT side, data security and network security. Yeah. And then that slowly progressed, towards people and protecting the people. And then, ultimately to actually doing advisory work on a very personal level.
Right. Nice. Awesome. So awesome. So you've developed a small bash and as far as advisory and stuff like that. And you're kind of at the stage where you're formulating that. So what's the bigger vision of creating this advisor group in the financial world? What is the end goal for you, and what are you trying to leave as a legacy with this company and you being here?
I want to be basically the advocate for all of the veterans that are out there, that they want to have somebody that they can trust and that they understand that they can go to for this kind of advice, that they can, when they want to start a business and they need somebody that they can talk to, they always know who they can go to, without question. It's like, who's got your six. And so that way, my vision is to have an organization, of myself and then also other veterans that are doing the same thing that I'm doing, to expand that to where I have additional, agents all over the country. And so that we're, really doing, boots on the ground work. It's, helping our brothers. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Focus on the bigger picture of the impact that you're going to make for future generations. I love it. I love it, brother. So awesome, man. So, I mean, you've started this group, this brand new company, this financial firm, you're helping strategy and all this kind of stuff. So now kind of walk us through this conference that that you're creating in Fort Worth. Kind of what is this conference? Why are you so excited about it? And kind of tell us a little bit about this conference coming up.
Sure. It's the Veterans Business Builder Conference. And what this conference is effectively a veteran business owner that's been in business, from the very beginning up to about 5 years. They probably have done some things, maybe get some successes, but haven't done all of the correct foundational structure set up, not following all of the best steps as far as building their business the way they should build it. It's having all of those resources in one place, bringing in many influencers from around the world, literally, to where we have experts that specialize in exactly what you need, the way that you need it, and then you're working hand in hand with them to create it on site.
Yeah.
So that way you walk away, effectively with your actual business in hand on Monday morning. Right. And then the caveat to that is, you don't just walk away and then you're thrown out to the wolves. You also had that follow-up and that accountability. That's key, because if you don't have follow-up and accountability, then all of the planning that you do during that weekend is for naught, because you don't know how to implement it.
Right.
And so that's also baked in, is having that accountability, that follow-up with those same experts that have done it themselves. They've built their businesses, they've succeeded in the industry, and then they're putting that into you so that you can have that same kind of success.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's a simple system to, no matter what kind of business you're starting, if it's a service or a product, there's a simple system that you follow initially. Right. For me, it was like, for one, branding, and then getting a clear message, and then building an audience, positioning and all that. And you figure out your positioning through like really clear messaging. And then you figure out a viable product that audience wants. So there's a lot of really cool ways that you can do it. And I love that you're bringing thought leaders around across the world to bring this in. It doesn't surprise me, man, because you're one of the most connected guys that I've ever met. I see you always active on LinkedIn. You're active in pretty much every Facebook group, veteran Facebook group that I'm a part of. I'm just like, this guy is everywhere. So yeah, man. So can you kind of like talk about some of the thought leaders that you're bringing in, what their specialties are for anybody ambitious vet inside this tribe? We're going to see this later on, in the Fort Worth area. Like, what are some of these thought leaders you're bringing into the conference?
Sure. Well, for example, one of them, Stephen Kuhn, really good friend of mine, fellow brother of ours. Stephen's going to be coming in to work on really kind of the whole business brand message. He has a brand message that he does, and he's going to be giving that super valuable message that he's going to be bringing. People spend a lot of money just to have him do this speech. He's coming in to give that to you. And so you're walking away with something that otherwise you would spend 5 figures for.
Wow.
You're able to get something huge. Yeah,
Stephen Kuhn's huge. I mean, he wrote the foreword for my ebook. I'm really grateful for that. And this guy is all about immediate impact. For any of you ambitious,
absolutely.
He's been on the podcast before for the Ambitious Vet. You can catch that on iTunes and Stitcher. But this guy is about immediate impact. Anytime around his energy, I'm like, why am I not executing faster and bigger right now? That guy is about immediate execution, creating resources, mass amount of exposure, like right now inside of your business. So that in itself is, I mean, that guy consults like 3 different countries.
Right.
That guy is a huge deal that you're bringing him in, man. So That's great, man. Any other thought leaders and specialties in any different industries that you're bringing in that you're excited to kind of announce? Or are you going to kind of tease everyone else about that?
Well, one that's a really powerful guy. He's Charles Robinson. He does the ClickFunnels. Charles is going to be giving us some good nuggets there. Mark Rockefeller is going to be coming in and talking to us about business lending. So yeah. So we'll have Mark in there to talk to us.
Guy's powerful as hell.
So a lot of headliner people are going to be part of this thing.
Damn, you're so modest, man. I love it. You're bringing some freaking heavy hitters, man.
That's the way you got to do it. People that have actually built empires is the way that you're going to build your own empire. Yeah. You don't do it with mom and pop shops. You have to do it with people that built empires, and so that's what we're doing.
That's awesome. So for any ambitious vet that's watching this, right, that you're building this huge, and it's called the Veteran Business Builder Conference, right?
Yes.
Got it. So what are they going to get when they come to this conference, man?
You're not only going to be sitting in with the different keynotes, obviously, with about 24 different influencers. So it's a lot of influencers coming in. So you're sitting in on the keynotes and you're learning, from the people who've actually done it and people who have perfected their craft. But then you're also going from there into breakout classes where it's smaller group sessions. You're working one-on-one with them. Roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty. You're actually working hand in hand with the influencers to develop your plan your way.
Wow.
So it's creating one-off strategies for each and every single person.
And just getting best practices from some of the top thought leaders in business, veteran business owners. That's awesome. That's awesome, brother. I mean, that is great. And I can see how this could be well worth over probably 15, 20 grand. I mean, I've spent money on stuff like this that was not veteran focused from veteran thought leaders. I've spent well over 10 grand on something like that for practical knowledge from other places. I mean, you're not even charging anywhere close to that, are you?
No. The average price for people is going to be $5,000 to do this. VIP, just to be able to have the VIP event and some of the VIP perks that we're throwing in is $7,500.
Holy cow. That's a steal, man. That is a freaking steal. I love that. So you bring not only Stephen Kuhn that consults 3 different countries, best-selling author, one of the top military influencers in the world right now. You got Mark Rockefeller from Street Shares that really helps veteran-owned businesses find funding like that. One of the top thought leaders in veteran-owned businesses finding funding. And you got these other amazing, I know you're still recruiting some thought leaders inside of that. But damn, man, I mean, and you said you're going to offer a special offer for the ambitious vet. So what are you going to do for any ambitious vet that watches this?
Yeah, for the ambitious vets, I want to knock 25% off of it.
Wow. That's huge, man. That's huge. So literally $5,000 price point. He's knocking off 25% to come around and hear some of the top thought leaders dive into whatever you're most passionate about. Turns an intangible idea into a tangible idea in how many days?
3 full days.
3 full days with some of the top leaders. Is Stephen and Mark going to be there all 3 days?
Oh, yes, they are.
Awesome. Oh my God. I don't know how you pulled that off, brother. But the guys, these are some of the top thought leaders. I've literally had a 45-minute call with Stephen Kuhn, and the guy just knows how to connect dots, help you figure out how to make money very quickly. Mark, I met him at the Military Influencer Conference last year in Dallas. That guy his mindset is all the way up here as far as finding way to build capital inside of your passion project. I definitely suggest any ambitious vet that has an idea, figuring out how to monetize it, get to Fort Worth. I mean, shit, anybody within the 100-mile radius should be driving down there. Absolutely.
And I encourage people all over the country.
Yep.
February 22nd is when we're starting it off. 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So, book that time. Mark that time on your calendar. Anywhere in the country, come to this thing because you're not going to find this anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely see that. So awesome, bro. I really appreciate you creating that, man. So before we go in and have them ambitious vets as far as a tribe, go and figure out where to find more information on that and what you're doing as far as building a financial legacy for vets. I want you to drop in 3 golden grenades in here, brother, that would help impact an ambitious vet right now that's going to allow them to start creating the first steps to creating impact out of the uniform? What would be those 3 golden grenades?
No, the very first one is, find yourself a good mentor. Because, if you don't have a good mentor, somebody who has what you want, who's done what you need to do, then you really don't have a good strategy ahead of you. You need to find somebody that's actually done it before and stick to them. Good mentor, multiple mentors even. So that would be the first one I would say is, get a good mentor. The other thing, obviously a lot of people say things like, SCORE or small business association, whatever. Those are good, but also, some of the veteran groups, there's Vetted, there's Veterati, you reach into those. There's also Bunker Labs, reach out to those guys. Those people can really just help you move very fast through the paces.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's another huge one. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because something I learned from one of my mentors is there's no stupid question, only a stupid answer. And so, you just, ask questions.
Yep.
Be sure, just ask questions, because, if you don't ask it, you're not going to know. And so, just be a sponge, try to learn something new all the time.
I love it.
And the biggest thing I think that people need to do is make sure that you just put together a good plan, pen to paper, and, map it out, work that thing, look at what you want to achieve, and then, disassemble it backwards, reverse engineer that thing, and reverse engineer what you want to have so that you can actually go from step to step from here all the way 10, 20, 30 years out. Because if you don't look at it that way, then you're going to end up tripping along the way somewhere.
Nice. Absolutely. I'm a big advocate of, like, you never can take massive action as far as execute effectively unless you're clear on your battle plan. Like, you've got to be clear on A to B, have your contingency plans along the way, but also being clear for execution, and having that clarity has you, be able to take that massive action because you're clear on what the A, B, C, D units of operation and executing. I love that.
Yeah. And burn your bridge. That's huge. Don't think, if this doesn't work, then I'll do this.
Yeah.
If you've done that, you've already screwed yourself up. Burn the bridge so that there is only one course, and it's the one straight ahead.
Right. Gotcha. And you failed to say one resource, man, vet training and coaching. We're actually launching a program later this year called Warrior to Passion Driven, where we're going to help ambitious vets develop a personal brand that impacts out of uniforms. So that's one key thing that we're doing as well. So, brother, hey, man, where can they find more information around this big veteran business builder conference, and where can they take advantage of this 25% off promo for ambitious vets? And are you putting a timeline on this, or is this up until the event?
As far as the discount, you mean?
Yep.
When you check out, give us a promo code, and we'll have that. Ambitious Vets is your promo code. Ambitious Vets. Okay. And go to txvet.us. That's the web address.
Gotcha. So, all right. And I'll comment the link in the comments below. So guys, definitely look after that. Take advantage of that promo. It's 25% off. I've spent well over probably $25,000 over the past 5 years into my business and personal growth. And really, why not surround yourself with veteran business owners that are legends in the business world as veterans, and narrow the time gaps, and you guys being able to create impact, create influence, and be known for something like we always preach about inside of this tribe. Why not take that risk? You're worth it. 25% off of $5,000 is not that much money for what the long-term ROI for getting practical on the court wisdom. Wouldn't you agree, brother?
That's right. I mean, you get a business in hand, so you can't beat it.
Come on, man. Oh, that's awesome. So, brother, James, man, I really just want to appreciate you, man. I want to acknowledge you for being who you are for the veteran industry, man. I mean, you've really done it. I mean, you've gotten out, served 11 years in the corporate world, really incubated as an ambitious vet, really took on and leaped and really are all about helping people build a huge legacy in their life. And for what you're creating with the Veteran Business Builder Conference, I really appreciate the ambitious vets that you're going to help, catapult their passions, their visions, all that. But I really appreciate you joining the Ambitious Vet, and I acknowledge you for who you are for the veteran industry, man. I
appreciate the time, man. This is my legacy is helping all the veterans be able to discover theirs. So, it's from me to you.
It's awesome.
Well, there you have it, Ambitious Vets. Hope you enjoyed episode 26 with James Snow. So, guys, as always, I'm going to go ahead and drop in my afterthoughts. What my biggest golden grenade that I took from it is he catch a slow but silent killer. Golden grenade that he dropped in here was don't hope, act. Was his biggest learning curve from when he got laid off after 11 years in the corporate world, guys. There's a lot of people that get out or get laid off, get out of the uniform, and they just sit there and they get on their hands and knees and they pray. They hope. They think Superman's going to fly in. They think a great opportunity is just going to land on their feet, land on their lap, rather. And it just never does. I lived there, done that, lived the life of an entitled veteran, and trust me, it shut the door to opportunity. Now, did I get a lot of discounts? Yes. But is that considered an opportunity for an ambitious vet? Hell no. Opportunity is creating more increase and piggybacking off the intangible skill sets that you've developed inside of the uniform. So guys, as James said, get out there, build relationships, provide consistent value in those. Always bring 10 times more value into your relationships, promote their stuff, promote what they're passionate about, listen to them, provide value, and never let people forget who you are. The industries, the groups, the social groups that you want to be developing relationships, always be consistent in there because as James said, you're either plugged in or plugged out. Guess where the unplugged ambitious vet goes? He goes nowhere. Stay plugged in, provide consistent value, always be building relevant relationships to your industry, guys, and that is what I want you guys to utilize in this next week. So, guys, as always, guys, go ahead and give me feedback. I like feedback. It's the lifeblood of this show. Just email me at choffman@vettrainingcoaching.com. That's 2 F's, 2 N's. choffman@vettrainingcoaching.com. Go rate and review the podcast as we want to be reaching as many ambitious vets as possible. We're hitting around 50 to 100 solid, loyal listeners on a weekly basis. We're close to 1,000 downloads, just 26 episodes in, and we definitely want it to grow. The more people we reach, the more ambitious vets we hit, the more come to the Veteran Empowerment Transition Group, and we can't do it without you. That's more opportunity, more strategic partnerships, bigger networking for you. This is all for you guys if you guys haven't gotten the message so far. So guys, we already know that you're warrior made, but to become passion driven, guys, go implement one golden grenade that you got from James Snow today. And I promise you, in the next year, 3 years, 5 years, you will be living that top performing civilian life. Now let's go